Want to welcome you guys aboard here, by the way. It's just after 11:30 Eastern time right now. Welcome back. My name is Joseph. If we haven't seen each other since the quad witching holiday, it was a kind of a trader's holiday last week, welcome back. It's a pleasure to be back here today. We had a tremendous day here in the market this morning. Earned over $1,000 once again. Took 4 trades. And I'll tell you, it is not many better ways to earn an income taking 4 trades, over 100 bucks in ticks, over 100 ticks in profit, over $1,000 in profit today. Traded 3 times on crude, 1 time on the Russell. Really made a lot of money with very little movement. There wasn't a lot of news on the schedule today. We had that Dallas Fed manufacturing survey, and we knew Mondays were always going to be a little bit more difficult to get started if there isn't any real major news. So we were patient. We were ready to get started this morning. Mondays are always key. Do we have anything that happened over the weekend? Markets were still digesting the news from the Fed the week before. We wanted this morning to focus on our routine. Our routine was so important because on a Monday morning, we can choose to get the day started off on a good note or a bad note, right? Mondays are great to really dig yourself into a hole if you're not paying attention. So we knew this morning, no major news. Monday after kind of a holiday week, and it wasn't a real holiday week, but again, sort of like a trader's holiday. And then, of course, without much news here, we knew it was going to be a little bit disastrous waiting to happen here. Now, what happened was we jumped right into this morning, looked at our crude charts, and what did we see? The 30-minute gave us all we needed. The 30-minute chart this morning, which we call our open, high, low, close chart. You don't see me using many time charts. This is probably one of the only time charts you'll see me use. The 30-minute chart is something I use every morning, and you're going to see here we found that sideways range. The buyers never tested overnight highs, but they did test overnight lows, and they failed, which gave us this very easy to spot sideways range. And when price tried to go below that sideways range, I tried to get short. Well, it didn't go very far. It failed and came right back up. When it came right back up, I went and bought it. We later on used the same strategy on the Russell. So you'll notice here my first few trades of the day today. First trade of the day was short. Again, we got below the range we're looking for. Went a little bit, but didn't give me very much. Came out and bouncing back out for nothing in, nothing out. My broker made money on that one. Well, of course, you know what I always say. If the sellers fail, the buyers will prevail. And sure enough, we're at the lows of that range. I went in and got long there for a total of 61 ticks. Pretty darn good reaction, right? So our trade management strategy allowed me to take my money and run out of that first trade, so I didn't lose any money besides the commission I spent to take the trade. And then, of course, on top of that, we found ourselves now at the low end of that range. Specifically, we're right here, and I bought the lows. Now, we were trying to take this thing all the way back up to, 92.50 or so, but couldn't get it to go higher than 92. Luckily, we did have a profit target sitting there waiting for us, 92 even. Then, of course, go over to the Russell here, and the Russell was the same thing. The Russell also, here's my Russell charts. The Russell also, same thing. We literally had the same clue from the same chart, ultimately the same time on the Russell. This happens quite frequently, where we saw specifically here these sellers failing. And when those big candlesticks failed, this chart's, of course, posted on the blog every morning. So you got this chart already posted for you. You can go back and look at it. But this chart, you can see here, those big candlestick wicks. We knew then this is going to be a great spot to buy. We bought it. Biggest trade of the day. Same strategy, different market. And this is just a great example here of how we use the same simple strategy to trade 2 different markets. And this is one of the things we always talk about, right? There's your biggest trade of the day there in the Russell going long. We always talk about why this method being so much easier to learn than other methods I've tried to learn in the past, because it's universal. The same rules, the same checklist, the same trade management, the same everything applies to any market you wish to apply it to. I made a mistake when I was a new trader learning a method that only worked on one market. or learning a method that used all kinds of fancy, complicated indicators, or these huge rules that I couldn't keep up with. Or maybe it was so black box I could never really tell. I had to just close my eyes and go with the plan. Either way you slice it, guys, I need a method that seeks to use supply and demand, fear and greed, that works in any environment, both good and bad. Today was a pretty challenging environment. We still made over $1,000 today. And the fact is that we were using the same strategy over multiple markets makes it easy for any trader to get started and any trader to do this long term. You know, when I was a new trader, I began on the S&P. I then moved to the DAX market, the FDAX and the Eurex. 2008 came around and that bottom fell out of the DAX and nothing was moving and I had to reinvent myself. But luckily I had a trading plan, a strategy that worked on any market. So I immediately moved to crude oil. See, if a strategy doesn't work well on all kinds of different markets, what happens when your favorite market stops working a couple of years from now? It will. Every market goes through yearly phases. They all do. Now, you may not think, and I don't think crude oil will slow down anytime soon here, not till we figure out this mess regarding energy. But the reality is you want to be able to have the control in your hands, right? You don't want to be susceptible to what the market's doing. You want to be able to be nimble and go out and find opportunities in any market. As we always say, right? Teach a man to fish and he eats for a lifetime. That's the goal here. Now, we had a bunch of questions that came in. How much time can we sit in a trade? This is a really good question. How much time is too much time to be sitting in a trade? Well, it all depends on what type of trader you are. Let's say I'm a swing trader. If I'm a swing trader, it could be anywhere from 12 to 24 hours. If I'm a position trader, someone who holds a position inside one day, sometimes overnight, but usually take one trade to hold for the entire session, unlike an intraday trader who will take multiple trades inside that session. A position trader, though, will take a position and try to hold it throughout the rest of the day. A position trader could be anywhere from 60 to 90 minutes. But let's talk about what we saw here in this room today. What are we? Or what do I consider myself to be? I consider myself to be an intraday trader, or as most people know it, as a day trader. An intraday trader is nothing more than somebody who buys and sells inside of the daily session. And by the way, that daily session is different for the euro or the Aussie dollar, for crude oil or the Hang Seng, right? Every morning session will be specific to the time zone it's in. So an intraday trader, as I call myself, I'm going to use the 60-second rule. Yeah, you could probably say 60 to 90 seconds. And then you're a scalper. And this course is not written in stone, but after being in that trade and it doesn't go anywhere after 90 seconds as an intraday trader, I now start to think that I make the wrong decision. Is there something I may have missed? What I saw to get me in the trade, is that now different now? As a scalper, it could literally be 60 seconds or less. And you'll notice, again, this has everything to do with what type of trader I'm going to be. What type of trader am I? If I'm seeking to find levels on a daily chart, on a weekly chart for swing trading, I don't want to jump out of that trade within the first 12, 24 hours if it hasn't gone anywhere. I'm talking about you get into that trade, it goes nowhere. You're sitting there. You get your stop still there, your target's still waiting to be filled. What do? If I'm an intraday trader now, I'm going 60, 90 seconds. Probably more, right? Let's say a little bit more than that, right? So we'll say 60 to 120 seconds. That's really about what it is. A couple minutes, right? A couple minutes there. And then the key is if you're a scalper, you are in and out, in and out, in and out, like a little Ferrari whipping through town. And that little Ferrari, right, if it's just stalling out there, I really got to be careful because as a scalper, a lot of noise in those scalping market time frames. It's easy to pick the wrong pattern to get into. Great question. We got plenty of time to answer more questions for members today. I'm going to let you guys go now if you're a guest. We'll transition over into members only as we do every day after 11:30 Eastern Time. Want to welcome you guys aboard, and I also want to encourage you guys to come and join me as a lifetime member. Our advanced membership is the best in the business, in my opinion. It's very difficult to find an environment where there's actually live trading and live education at the same time. Very easy to trade. Well, maybe not easy. A lot of people can trade. A lot of people can teach. Teaching and trading at the same time, I think, is the absolute best way to go. Now, we also, of course, provided you with exact entry points to get in. I provided you with stops and targets so everyone can shadow trade along with me once they're properly trained as a member. I do want to remind you guys there is risk out there in these markets for a guest. Please be careful until you're properly trained. But overall, though, a fantastic day today, and I want to thank you all for your time today. Thank you to all the guests for being here, and, of course, for all the members for being incredible traders once again today.